Street vendors, artists, and musicians have long been attractions, colorful threads that make up the very fabric of New York. Now, Mayor Mike Bloomberg is trying to reduce, if not nearly eliminate them from some of the busier parks, plazas, and squares around the city. Calling them a public nuisance, the Bloomberg administration says they add congestion to already crowded streets and are a threat to public safety. A threat? Well, it was a couple of street vendors who spotted a suspicious vehicle in Midtown last month and alerted police, who prevented the Times Square car bomb from going off. So what's the deal with this new effort to get rid of the vendors? Is it politically motivated? To find out, we hit the streets. This is the sound of the city, a symphony of cluttered traffic, chattering voices, and the occasional street musician. It's the soundtrack for our busy lives and is now being targeted by the Bloomberg administration. Here, the tunes are provided by the Blue Funk Orchestra, and nearby resides a street artist named Lawrence Klingman.
There's a couple ways to look at it. First of all, I agree with the Bloomberg administration that sometimes there's too many vendors on the street that end up blocking pedestrians. But on the other hand, the pedestrians, 90% of the people who have come over to me and spoken to me about this kind of thing have expressed their complete discontent with that situation. They love coming to Union Square. They love the art and they love the street life that this kind of art provides, and they're upset at it. So I think Bloomberg needs to really pay attention. If they were to limit the spots in Union Square for street artists, then people would end up fighting with each other to get those spots, and people would pay other people to sleep out overnight, and it would just kind of take the spirit away from the art itself and turn it into more of a competitive business.
A lot of people are in the gray area, and so far I've been okay, but I actually have been asked in other places if I had all my documentation and whatnot, but so far here nobody's said anything to me. So
the tourists we spoke with see the street artists as part of the New York landscape.
We're here to check out the diversity of New York. We just think it's a really interesting place. It's very different than what we came from. So it's really cool to come down here and see the street vendors, and it's a huge inspiration to the performing arts, which is the area that we're in. So it's really neat to come down here and see the diversity.
I like to see all the different things people are selling, and the artists, especially the musicians, and what they're doing.
Why do you want to be a street vendor?
Well, I think it's a good place to sell my art, number one, and also the nice thing about it is you get to meet with the people who actually buy your art. So this is a great thing for artists. New York is a city for artists, and it's not easy to get into a gallery in New York City, no matter how good you are.
In this tough economic time, it's for us to open a store, to make a fancy schmancy website. It's not really so easy to do. So, we come out here and it's a community of people, and, you get to meet people of New York. It's an amazing thing. I never knew about it really until I started working here and still started sharing my art. And I've been very inspired by the people I've met, and it would change the culture of New York, I think.
A city without art is unthinkable to some.
It's hard to even think about, actually. It's really sad. Well, this is one of my primary incomes. I pay my rent with vending out here. I eat vending out here. I eat while I'm vending, and I vend to eat. And it's just, I don't know, it's really a freedom of speech and creativity.
But the artists say they won't go without a fight. At a recent rally, tempers ran high.
Artist power! Artist power! Artist power! Artist power!
They refuse to enforce the existing laws. They pretend there are no existing laws. The reason that they let a lot of illegal vendors sell in the park is to increase the public outrage so that people will turn against artists. Well, we're not going to be taking any of that baloney from the Parks Department. We're going to keep selling in the art in the parks. If you pass this rule, you're going to have to arrest us.
For about 9 years now, Union Square has been a safe haven for artists to sell and display their work. I believe in 2001 the city ended their lottery system requiring First Amendment vendors to have permits to sell and display their art on the streets and in the park. I've been coming out here for about 2 years selling my photography, and I mean, honestly, it's been great.
Regardless, the city is holding firm and sticking with their plan. Commissioner Adrian Benepe said this: certain parts of parks have become very overcrowded, and people trying to walk through or to the park have to walk through a gauntlet of vendors who don't have permits and are required to have permits, but pretty much set up willy-nilly wherever they'd like.
There's no real good reason to get us out of here. The excuse they're using is that there's too much congestion. But if you look at the green market, they're much tighter and they're much more congested there. And I think they have a right to be here just as much as we do. And to be honest, it's not easy to make a living as a street artist or any kind of artist. And if you want to be an artist in this day and age, you either have, the traditional route is to go through a gallery. But then the gallery, you have to, you have to support the gallery with your art, and, they are going to curate your work. So here I can come out and present what I want to present and hopefully earn a living. And, everybody out here has a right to be here. And there's already existing laws on the books to regulate us. But up until recently, they weren't utilizing the existing laws. So it seems like they're going in the right direction. But, basically, I've been planning to come out here for years now. I just came out here for the first time this summer, and I've been preparing for 3 years to get to this point. But if it wasn't for places like Union Square and other parks that have artists, a lot of the charm of New York would be lost.
Whether the Bloomberg administration succeeds or the artists prevail, both sides still want to hold on to the creativity that gives New York City an edge.